Okay, so once you have your texture done, let's apply this texture to our low poly model. And we're going to want to do this by aligning this model back. And this is why I placed the original model. Let's also make sure we're saving along the way. This is why I placed this original model in the center of the world space so that I'm able to then move this right back on top of it. So what we want to do, and this is, if we look at we want to basically add, let's go to my outliner here and select my low poly bird here. Let's add we're not going to be working with Arnold. I want you to work with the Maya shaders and either a Lambert or a Blinn. Let's work with the Lambert because we don't have a lot of specularity. Well, let's not do that. Let's work with the Blinn so we have that possibility of adding some shininess, right? So this Blinn has a bit of shininess to it. You can kind of see it as I'm moving around, right? So we can adjust these material qualities. But what we want to do is add a normal map to this model, and that's a texture map. And what that's going to do is it's going to use the texture of this high poly model, and it's going to interpret that based on the normals of our material as it's applied. So let's go to my low poly. If I have these two here, they're on top of each other. Now to do this, to add this to the normal map, we're going to go to under our rendering menu set. I'm going to go to texturing. Oh, sorry, I'm going to go to lighting and shading, and I'm going to transfer maps. This is a really cool tool. And what I want to do is add my target mesh. I'm going to add the low poly model to be the target mesh. And then the source mesh is going to be the high poly model, add selected. And then what I want to do is I want to output a normal map. Okay, so you'll have this with nothing output. Let's output a normal map. And what this does is the lighting of, you can see that this normal map, the lighting of our material will be influenced by the texture that we created with the high poly model. So that's how the light will interact with it. So it will appear as if it has a much more varied and intricate model, but the model itself is low poly, but you bake the normal map, which informs the way that light and shadow play off of this model. I'm going to save this actually as a PNG, and I want to, right, it's going to save it here under the source images. And I'll name it Finch texture. Okay. And I'm going to say bake and close. Now it's going to bake. And let's see if it did it. Looks like I did something wrong. Let's try that again. Let's undo. And let's go back to transfer maps. I know what I did wrong. So because it didn't bake that, it's going to maintain all of this info in my transfer maps. But what I need to first do is I need to look at the envelope of this. Let's make this smaller. We don't need it to be that large. Let's make sure it envelops it. We have the normal maps, include materials, connect to this shader that we already have, or maybe we assign a new shader. Let's see if there's anything else I need to do. Right, the source map. And let's go ahead and try that again, bake and close. And I think it actually did work that first time, but I just think we need to hit 6 on our keyboard. Okay, so 6 shows me the texture. Now there's a lot of this so some of this looks pretty good, but some of the way the normals worked out doesn't look great. So I might want to maintain the wings. The wings look okay. And I might want to just add more texture detail, I think, overall to the original model. But this is one way that we can kind of bake texture into. I think also I might want to change some of the way that normals behave by changing some of the lighting scheme. Now let's select this model again. So those face normals look pretty good. They're working out, but it's just the way that that texture was applied. So I think it'll be okay. What I'm going to do next in our next video, we'll paint this model.